For over a decade now, Assassin's Creed fans had been begging Ubisoft to make a game set in Japan, and finally they did it. Maybe a few years too late, after we got Ghost of Tsushima and so many people were like, holy shit, we don't need an Assassin's Creed Japan anymore, we've got a better game with Ghost of Tsushima. But nevertheless, Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out this November, but it has been dealing with massive backlash when Ubisoft gave the fans what they wanted, but not the way they wanted it, because just look at this ratio. When we found out that one of the two playable characters, instead of being somebody that's from the region like we've had over and over and over again, they decided that they wanted to go with a historical character that people have lied about over and over again, Yasuke, the Black Samurai. And you can see the reaction. Almost 800,000 dislikes to less than 300,000 likes. But really, that's just the main trailer. You go to the Japan trailer, the Japanese trailer, and this ratio is even worse. Not by number of dislikes, but by the actual ratio. 10-1, people despise this. And over the past several months, we've seen a massive pushback from Japanese fans of this franchise. And it's gotten to a boiling point. You know, a petition that has nearly 100,000 signatures. So many different Japanese creators calling Ubisoft out, not just for the inclusion of Yasuke, but also for just getting basic things about Japan wrong. And it is all blown up to the point where they can't deny this anymore. They can't just sit back. Ubisoft was forced to come out and make an apology all about this, and I don't even know if I'd call it an apology as much as an explanation and saying we're still going full speed ahead. Assassin's Creed Shadows team issues apology to Japanese fans for marketing that is, quote, caused concern. And maybe the thing that really caused this, it wasn't the backlash, right? It wasn't the dislikes. It wasn't fans actually complaining. It was the stuff that went beyond the pale. When it was exposed that, hey, the Japanese government might be looking into this game. Like, the Japanese government actually might look into this game and what they're doing for cultural appropriation and cultural invasion and things like that, and might actually take some action. Or when the foremost expert, the guy who wrote the book that everybody sources as this is proof that Yasuke is a samurai, turns out he's a massive liar. Turns out he's tried to delete his internet presence after being caught lying and fabricating evidence and changing articles, changing sources to make it look like Yasuke was actually officially a samurai, even though there's no proof. And if that wasn't crazier, Ubisoft actually sourced this guy, Thomas Lockley, as a source for what they decided to make, and he's a complete and total fraud. Well, now we have them issuing their statement. Assassin's Creed Shadows team has a message to our Japanese community. Not to anybody else, just the Japanese community. Apparently, everybody else that's got a problem with it, you can go fuck yourself. This is just for Japan. To our esteemed Japanese community, a message from our Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. And of course, the first part's, hey, thank you for all the support, blah, blah, blah. We know that. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed set in feudal Japan has been a long-cherished dream. Since the announcement of Shadows, we've received many positive reactions, but also some criticism, including from you, our Japanese players. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We'd like to address a few points to clarify our intentions and creative decisions. Yeah, so much positivity about this game. This looks like it's received really positive. Just a little bit of criticism. That's a massive cope from them. Let's get back to this. Let's go to page 2. Overall authenticity efforts. We put significant effort to ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. Yeah, like including a black samurai that there's no actual proof that he was a samurai, but we wanted to put him there for DEI points. And by the way, when you're fighting with him, you get a Japanese set with a hip-hop soundtrack playing behind it. Very, very respectful. However, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed games, including Shadows, as factual representation of history or historical characters. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about historical settings we get inspired by. And that is a true statement, okay? That is a true statement that it's never set like, hey, this is actual historical fact. It is historical fiction, right? They put you in this place in a time that we know things that happen, and they weave this story about, oh, this was actually going on. Wouldn't this be interesting if this was actually going on? Like, obviously, Leonardo da Vinci wasn't helping the assassins in this war against the Templar. Like, none of that shit was actually happening, right? But it has seemed very, very different with this game specifically because of the push by so many that, oh, Yasuke actually was a black samurai. How dare you say he wasn't? By Ubisoft basically admitting they did this specifically so they can include a black character instead of a Japanese character. Like, there's a lot of differences with what they're doing with Yasuke. than what they've done in past iterations with a lot of these characters. Despite these sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements in our promo materials have caused concerns within the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. All game footage presented so far is in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch, so we're going to try to do damage control, got it? Based on the constructive criticism we've received, we'll continue our efforts as we put this game into your hands and beyond. We also want to clarify, we've been consulting with many people throughout the development process. They're in no way responsible for decisions that are taken by creative teams. Hey, just criticize us, not anybody we collaborate with. That's the message. This is the interesting part right here. We strive for authenticity in everything we do, but it's work of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illusion of this. His unique and mysterious life make him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a black backdrop. No, it doesn't. It actually doesn't, unless you're going for some message of, hey, we got to get this black guy's perspective on Japan so he can overthrow their oppressors. That's what they're fucking doing, right? It's 100% what they're doing. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We've woven this carefully in our narrative with the other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Neo, who's equally important in the game. We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts respectfully. While we understand this, the meeting everyone's expectations is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when it comes out on November 15th, you'll buy the game and try it, blah, blah, blah. This is an indication to me that this backlash is way worse than they ever possibly thought it would be. That it's really affecting them and how they think the game is going to perform, because for months and months and months, they just sat by while it happened. They just sat by while they got ratioed. They sat by while they got blasted. You saw a lot of people in the mainstream games journalist space being like, it's just, these people are just racist. They would never play a person of color. They would never play a black assassin. And it's like, motherfuckers, we've had that before, but we had it in places where it made sense, and nobody was fucking complaining about that. This is because of what they're doing with this game, and specifically the character they decided to use and the message that they were trying to push. And the fact that they felt the need to come out and do this with everything that's happened tells me that really it's gone to the next level, and they're desperately trying to do damage control specifically for their Japanese audience. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.